What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian and welcome back to the Boxing Tip. Now you guys know what this video is about, so let me just give you a brief reminder of one thing before I get started. Everything that I'm going to be talking about in this video is purely opinion based, and my picks of upset and knockout of the year are also preference based. You know what I'm saying? These are just two important matches for me to talk about, so I don't speak for everybody when I say this. This is just, these are just my picks basically. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the two things that these two fights have in common is that not only were they brutal knockouts of 2016, definitely contenders for knockouts of the year, but they're also contenders for upsets of the year. Now, as we know, Joe Smith Jr. kind of came onto the scene earlier this year with a vicious first round knockout of Andre Fonfara. Now, he was a pretty big underdog going into the fight, but shocked the world, scoring a brutal knockout of Fonfara, knocking him down once and then finishing him off with I think it was a pretty big left hook, kind of sent him into the turnbuckle and whatnot. So yeah, pretty impressive. I mean, it's not so much that the matchup itself was like crazy competitive or anything. No one really knew who Joe Smith Jr. was. Just your average Joe, man, trying to make it into the world of boxing. And and then I think he was a club fighter, or that's what they were calling him, a club fighter, before he took the Andre Fonfara fight. I think Fonfara was just probably looking for a stay busy fight. Saw this kid from, I think he's from either New York or, yeah, he's from New York. Club fighter. Probably figured, hey, he's good enough, but, maybe I'll get a little easy win, probably a fight that I could look good with a knockout. But that fucking flipped on him real bad. Ended up getting dropped really bad by a super right hand in the first portions of the first portion of the first round, then coming back to getting knocked out, making it official with a big left hand, and then putting Fonfara's ass down. So combined with it being a major upset, also a brutal knockout of such a durable opponent as Andre Fonfara, and he gives no easy fights to anybody he fights. He gave Julio Cesar Chavez all he can handle, had a pretty tough fight with Adonis Stevenson, and I'm pretty sure he was ranked as a top 10 or maybe even a top 20 light heavyweight at the time Joe Smith Jr. knocked him out. So, that looks good on Joe Smith Jr.'s resume. And then to follow up with that, knocking out Bernard Hopkins, knocking him out of the ring in brutal fashion. And then now he's really on, now he's on the map. He got put on the map from those two performances this year, and he really broke through and became more of a, now he's more known around the world, and now he has a good opportunity to, get a lot bigger fights and actually pursue this career in boxing. So congratulations to him. I'm proud. Average Joe comes in and, obliterates two named opponents. It's always a good thing. And, he seems like a pretty humble guy, man. So, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him and his family. So, big ups to him. The second fight, which is also another candidate of knockout of the year, also another candidate of upset of the year, is Julius Ndongo's first round knockout of Edward Troyanovsky. Now, I didn't make a breakdown prediction video of this fight, but I did mention in one of my videos that I was picking Troyanovsky to beat Julius Ndongo. I did peep out Julius Ndongo. I just recently heard about him when I saw that the fight was made between him and Troyanovsky, so I figured I'd do my research. And, I found out a few things. He was a former Olympian for Namibia. And I saw he was undefeated, and then, I was watching a couple of his, it looked like some kind of home recorded, like boxing matches, like someone was just kind of recording on like a camcorder, fights that were happening in Namibia, and I seen the way he was fighting, and I'm like, man, this dude's pretty decent, I mean, he ain't got any major accomplishments to back up, his boxing ability, but at the same time, he passed my eye test. I was like, yeah, he's got some you know, he's got some flash, man. He's got some skill. So I knew that Troyanovsky wasn't going to exactly blow right through this guy, but I was expecting Troyanovsky to, you know, give Julius Ndongo all he can handle, and maybe even to stop him maybe in the later portions of the fight. But them fucking Africans, man, are durable. So even if you wouldn't have knocked out Troyanovsky in the first round, I still have a feeling that would have been a very difficult match for Edward Troyanovsky going into the, you know, later portions of the fight. But eventually I figured Troyanovsky would get him out of there. But no, it didn't happen that way. Julius Ndongo wasn't there to just lay down, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't there trying to take a little bit of money and get paid. He was there to try to win. And sure as shit, man, he came out. He was throwing some decent combinations. Wasn't really landing much, you know, in the first, you know, like 30 seconds of the fight. And then Troyanovsky just made this like really sluggish attempt at trying to go to the body, and then he ended up giving up his lead foot dominance. He ended up giving up lead foot dominance to Julius Ndongo and put him in like a straight line, as straight as line trajectory for a fucking bomb of a left hand as possible. And you see that a lot with southpaws and orthodoxes when they go up against each other. I don't know if Troya just wasn't really thinking about his move there, but when he came up from trying to throw like a little body attack or trying to mount a little bit of offense, he ended up in the worst position you could be in, and he paid for it big time because Ndongo didn't hold back. He fucking saw that opening and just rocketed that fucking left hand, and it knocked Troya back on his ass and then slammed his head against, you know, the canvas when he hit the ground. So that dude's got some pop. And Troyanovsky isn't the most, you know, he isn't the softest boxer. He's a pretty mustard dude. So that was a big upset. When I saw that it went down that way, I was like, holy shit. I cannot believe that fucking happened. You know, it was kind of like one of those, goddamn, man, like he fucked my streak up. But at the same time, it was like, it makes things interesting. Do I think the fight didn't really have a chance to manifest to what it could have been? If there's a rematch, I might be picking Julius Ndongo to win, but it's not going to be by I'm not going to say he's the overwhelming favorite. I feel like if the fight had a chance to manifest into what it could have been, it would have been a much more competitive bout than what it seemed. So, I mean, now I have a little bit different opinion. Obviously, I would be favoring Julius Ndongo in a rematch, but not by much. Not by much at all, because I know what Troyanovsky is capable of doing, and if he avoids another if he avoids a fucking huge left from Julius Ndongo, if Ndongo can't get Troyanovsky out of there early again, he's going to be in for one of the toughest nights of his life. I could almost guarantee that, but I guess we would have to wait for the rematch to happen in order to know for sure. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover on this video, guys. I mean, the boxing is a little bit slow, obviously. It's towards the end of the year. We have our last two good fights happening tomorrow, which is a Corrales-Uchiyama rematch. I had already made my breakdown and prediction video for that fight. I am picking Corrales. And we also have Jonathan Guzman versus Yukinori Aguni. I already made a video of my prediction or my pick for that fight. I am picking Jonathan Guzman to win. But let me know what you guys think, man. Once again, congratulations to Japan for fucking putting on some good-ass cards. Naoya Inoue blasted through top 10 ranked Kohei Kono in 6 rounds. Awesome fight. Naoya is looking like a fucking problem. Seriously, a serious problem at 115-pound division. But let me know what you guys think, man. Who'd you guys pick for knockout of the year? I know there was some fucking crazy good ones, some really brutal knockouts that happened this year. Nevertheless, these ones just seemed a little more significant for me because they kind of changed the platform in their division. So, you know what I'm saying? It changed the whole, how do I would say it? Like, it changed the entire vibe of the division. You know, it made a lot of things interesting. You know, we got the common guy coming out of nowhere and starting to make a name for himself, and then we have Julius Ndongo from Namibia blasting away one of the 140-pound titleists, and now he's a new title holder, and there is some pretty stiff competition at 140, so it makes things really interesting. That's why I picked these. But let me know who you think was the upset of the year, or the knockout of the year, or your fighter of the year, or your fight of the year. any of your end of the year picks, let me know. Comment, man. We could talk about it. You know, I've been getting into some pretty interesting conversations lately about the Quadras Gonzalez, or about Roman Gonzalez, with some peeps on YouTube, man. And they actually, pretty sure they actually subscribe to me, man. So shout out to you guys, and thanks for the conversation. But as always, share the video with your homies, introduce somebody to boxing. You know what I'm saying? We had a whole great year 2016. Try to get them caught up. We have a fucking amazing first quarter of 2017 getting ready to go down. So make sure you get somebody into boxing just in time so they can catch all the good fights for the early portion of 2017. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. I will talk to you on the next one. Sebastian from The Boxing Tip signing out. Peace.